Hello and welcome to a quick little episode of Rico'S Rants. I'm your host, Rico DiGiorgio. Um, I read some bad news, and I'm actually legit kind of upset about it. I actually kind of teared up a little bit. I managed to not cry during this. Pure coincidence. The past couple of weeks, I hadn't done any videos in a while. I've been kind of busy, and I've been house sitting for my mother, so I'm driving half an hour when I'm off work, and I'm just tired at the end of it. And I just kind of want to relax and watch some stuff. And the stuff I was watching was True Blood, and I found out today the actor that I really loved the most on the show and played my favorite character, Lafayette, passed. And he was 39 and he had like complications of like heart surgery. And it's so fucking bizarre because literally last night, till about 2 in the morning, I finished up the second season of True Blood. I had already seen all of True Blood, but this was me going back and rewatching it. Because I was like, I hadn't seen True Blood in a while. Let me rewatch this. It's a good show. Sometimes the seasons kind of dip a little bit, but my favorite character is Lafayette, played by, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing. I mean, it's spelled Nelsan Ellis, but I don't know if it's Nelson Ellis or it's Nelsan. It's the motherfucker who played Lafayette, and I say that with such no disrespect. When I say motherfucker, I mean he was he. It would be something that his character would say, like motherfucker. Like he's so it's so fucking sad. He, I mean, a quick rundown is True Blood is all about characters, and it's all about weird vampires and other, werewolves, and it's basically Twilight for adults. And I mean, it's chaotic. The plots are ridiculous. It's all about vampires and Christian ideology and Louisiana, and Southern atmosphere, and it gets crazy. But consistently through the whole show, Lafayette is the sassy but tough, gay black guy who's also at some points of the show, a drug dealing prostitute. He's also a short order cook at the restaurant, Merlot's. But every single fucking episode, he is just phenomenal. And it's a fucking wasted talent. I mean, I'm going to have to go through the rest of the series really upset. There's a scene early on in the first season, and it's sort of a highlight. And it's really just, he's a short order cook, and he's got pizzazz, and he's got, he's like, listen, bitch, or, I mean, I can't do a Lafayette because he just made this character so, and it's not halal, it's not a stereotypical gay guy. I mean, he's, you forget in some ways that he's gay, and you forget in some parts that he's played by a straight actor. He's just a human, and like, he's so all over the place and so sexually charged and sassy and but he owns every minute. He's like, bitch, I looks amazing. And you're like, motherfucker does look amazing. He's just sex incarnate. And which is funny because the show features vampires, and all vampires are just sex incarnate. It doesn't matter how ugly they are, people gravitate towards them. But I always kind of gravitate towards Lafayette. I mean, I like vampires, I like the werewolves, I like kind of watching Sookie and all that other shit, but I was always a fan of Lafayette. Just the fact that he can be tough, and he can be sensitive, and he can be realistic and funny. Very funny. The funniest lines usually were from him. and there's a part where he's cooking, and the waitress says, brings back an order, and he's like, "What's wrong with my hamburger?" And she says, "I don't, they're just rednecks. I don't want to tell you what they say." He's like, "What, bitch? What'd they say?" And she's like, "They said the burger's got AIDS on it, because he's gay." And he goes back and he breathes like, and he just kind of calmly like, "Bitch," just like doesn't say it, but just like, I've had enough of this shit. I've had enough of this redneck hillbilly bullshit. So he just takes the plate of burger and he says, "Who ordered the hamburger deluxe?" He says, "Is there something wrong with my hamburger?" And this one hillbilly says, "I ordered the hamburger deluxe." He's like, "Well, hamburger deluxe comes with lettuce, tomato, beef patty, cheese, and AIDS." And the whole fucking restaurant just like freaks out and looks, and all of a sudden he's like staring at him. He's like, "I don't want AIDS on my burger, faggot." And he's like, "Well, bitch, and he says like, faggots have been cooking your food, cleaning your cars, and even serving your beer forever." And at that point, the guy is like halfway through his beer. He's like, "Y'all got AIDS." He's like, "Listen, you're gonna fucking come into my restaurant. You're gonna eat the food I fucking make." And he says, "I don't have to. This is America. I don't have to do anything." And he says, "Oh, really?" And he takes the bun, licks off the mayonnaise. He's like, "There you go," and shoves it in his face. Knocks down all three fucking guys. Dumps the plate of food on the hillbilly's lap and says, "Tip your waitress," and walks away. I mean, it's such a great fucking scene. I posted it on my Facebook. It's so good. But he was so fucking talented. And I don't know what complications. I mean, he was just so vibrant. There's another part I really love where, again, spoiler, I've only rewatched up to the second season, and I need to rewatch a lot of it, which I'll heartbreakingly do. But there's a part where he gets captured, and he's sort of in a dungeon held by vampires, and he's got PTSD, and in the middle of all that, he gets shot in the leg, and then he manages to escape, and he goes back home, and he just takes a bunch of pills and drinks and weed, and just kind of lays down, and then a vampire shows up to give him a bunch of shit, and he's like, "Look, man, I'm not doing that shit no more. Blah blah blah," and he said, "Your leg is infected. I can smell it. You're going to lose the leg unless you drink from me." Now, it's true, but it's also a ploy to get this vampire connected and synced up with Lafayette. And begrudgingly, he starts drinking blood from the vampire, and it heals him. And there's a scene where the vampire, Eric, is on the phone, and he puts down the phone, and then in the background, all of a sudden, perfectly healed, got some of his pizzazz back, Lafayette jumps into the frame and just starts twerking and fucking like, he's just dancing. He's like, just doing this shit. And you're just like, fucking what the fuck? I love this guy. And I was a big fan of, I'm really fucking sad. And I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to work today. I'm wearing my work shirt. I'm going to recommend everyone to watch True Blood just for this fucking guy. You don't have to like vampires. You don't like to like werewolves. You could give a fuck about Louisiana, but watch it specifically for this Nelsan. I feel bad not knowing how to pronounce his first name. Nelsan Ellis. Specifically Lafayette. And I wanted to see more of him. So weird timing that I was rewatching True Blood and then he fucking died. I thought, like, this has happened a couple times where I'll be thinking of an actor or I'll be rewatching something and then all of a sudden they die. It happened with Michael Jackson. Like, I'm not a huge Michael Jackson fan. I remember, like, I was like, I kind of want to watch a lot of the YouTube, like, music videos and a lot of his stage productions. I was never a fan. I respected him as an artist, but I kind of grew up during the controversy. So I kind of had a biased, like, I don't really need to listen to Michael Jackson. I don't really agree with what he does. And then I went through a whole like 2 hour, 3 hour watching a lot of his stuff, listening to a lot of his music, and then he died the next day. And I'm like, did I fucking kill Michael Jackson just for like interest or something? And it's happened many times where I'll be like, I'm kind of thinking about us. Like there was who was it? It was I was thinking of I was watching a movie and I was like, I kind of feel like watching a Johnny Depp film, and I like Johnny Depp. And then I'll put it on, and then I'll look online. I'm like, it's his fucking birthday today? That's fucking bizarre. That happens all the time. It's either their birthday or their death day. This was just too bizarre. And I told a bunch of people, I'm like, yeah, I'm rewatching True Blood. And they're like, that's cool. And then, like, I sent them text messages. I'm like, fucking Lafayette died. They're like, what did you do, Rico? But I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the family. I'm sorry for his friends. I'm sorry for his fans. So this is a sort of unconventional Rico's rant. I mean, it's still a rant, but it's not about a movie. It's kind of about a show, but it's more about an actor I really liked. So if you have not seen True Blood, go see True Blood. At very least, just for Lafayette. All right, guys. I gotta go to work, but I am planning on doing a Rico's rant soon. I wanted to do one for my birthday, but I got sort of sidetracked, and then I was house sitting for my mother. But I had a couple in mind. I wanted to do like a sort of birthday one for myself, one that I would choose that I really liked, one of my favorite movies. Sort of haven't done the time. I've been really tired. But I'm planning on going to see Spider-Man Homecoming as soon as possible, and I will do one of those. Whether I'm drunk or not. I don't know. Love you all to death. Bye, guys.